Me on your show.
Now, I'm sure when I said lifestyle disease, you know, our viewers at home were like, lifestyle disease? What does that mean?
Well, basically, lifestyle diseases are illnesses that are brought on by how we live, what we eat, what we drink, if we exercise or not, if we are obese or not. Then those things that we do in our daily lives impact our health. And if you find that you are not exercising and you are a heavy smoker or you drink every weekend, then you increase your chances of getting diseases such as hypertension, high blood pressure, diabetes, and other chronic diseases.
Now, I mentioned in my intro that lifestyle disease also impacts negatively to middle-aged men. But why specifically that age group and that gender?
When you look at the statistics, it actually shows that men are more prone to chronic conditions of lifestyle, particularly cardiovascular diseases, more so than women. But it doesn't mean that women don't get these diseases, but it just so happens that statistically, men are more prone to have these conditions. And it's mostly middle-aged, but it's not exclusively middle-aged. You also get 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds who are also encountering problems with hypertension, heart attacks because of the lifestyle. But it's because of the middle age is most prevalent because these men are mostly seen as economically free. They have resources to be able to entertain themselves. Most of them drink on a regular basis, smoke on a regular basis. And based on that, and also their genetic composition, it makes it even worse for them.
Now, If you're in South Africa or in Africa in general, you would know that there is a cultural perspective that, you know, if a sign for financial prosperity is if a man has, you know, a bulge around their waist. And I know in colloquial use we call it the cooler bag. But why is that a risk? Is that a good sign at all?
It's a huge risk. We call it central obesity. When anybody gathers some fat around that particular area, especially around the belly area, you are at very high risk of getting cholesterol problems. The fat deposits that are sitting there can clog up your arteries. You have a very high risk of getting heart attacks, diabetes, and all of that. So it's not a good thing when it comes to health. It might be a good thing for entertainment purposes, but not for one's health.
And I think you need to give us some tips because we know that in South Africa, when one celebrates, there has to be alcohol, there has to be junk food, there has to be good friends and loud music. What tips can you give South Africans as a whole in terms of lifestyle so to avoid this disease?
I think it's important for us to always remember to look after ourselves. This condition does not only affect the affluent, it also affects people who live in poverty. You just look at the kind of food that kids eat when they take lunches or they buy kotas or spatlos at the townships. It really starts from there. We need to change our eating habits completely from a young age. We need to introduce the fruits, the vegetables, the water from a young age so that the kids can grow up knowing that this is the normal way of eating, so that they're not tempted to live a lifestyle that will put their lives at risk. So we need to also, as we get older, look after ourselves much better. We need to not smoke. We need to drink lots of water, exercise, you know, have yourself checked out every year, just to make sure that your body's still in check and you're able to manage yourself.
I think it's very interesting that you mentioned that children also need to be accustomed to a healthy lifestyle from a young age so that when they grow older, it's a norm. But you know that kids, usually having them eat vegetables is a negotiation on its own. What fun ways do you think we can incorporate a healthy lifestyle in ordinary people's lives so that it looks attractive and it's something that you can look forward to and not something like, my dietitian said I have to eat healthy so I can live longer or live a healthier lifestyle?
I guess that's a question for marketers. They need to come with innovative ways of making these kind of programs attractive to the lay people. We also need to, we've become a nation that is really dependent on fast foods and takeaways and that. So even legislation-wise, I mean, it would probably be wise to start thinking of how do we limit access to junk food in schools, for instance, in workplaces, so that we can start being forced to eat healthily.
Absolutely. Dr. Ntlotleng Mabena, thank you so much for joining us and enlightening us on eating healthy. Thank you.
Thank you for